unfortunately I got laid off, so now
Okay.
I'm 100% now in trading.
Oh wow.
Yeah, within the past month, I was actually able to achieve 77% on the P&L portion of it. All just from the emotional part of it, risk management. So seems like it's been going good. However, like some parts of it, like you do get emotional about it, and the trade on shop that Tanner was going through today.
Yes.
I got in on that trade as well. I think I set my sell price at like I think it was 140.92. It literally
Okay.
came directly to it and reversed. I'm like, oh man, and then it just stopped me out. I'm like, you bastard. But I continue feeding.
Hey, I'm with you. You know what I did on that one? When I took that short too.
Yeah.
I just after it didn't matriculate, and I could see it was just kind of petering. I said, okay, I just kind of set my stop at that point to break even. So I said, you know
Gotcha.
what? If it doesn't hit my profit target, so be it. I'll just break even for the day and call it a day. Well, good. I'm glad you said so. That's great. So, what do you feel? So, tell me what do you think? As far as seeing the setups, are you feel better on that end of it?
I feel a whole lot more confident. However, with the market is not something that, it's go according to how it's I guess, it's not like a manual that you can go according to it. So I have gotten to the point where, hey, if it is a great setup, however, I lost the trade, it is what it is. It's just move
Yep,
on. There's hundreds of other trades I can take. I
that's
don't
right.
beat myself up over it. I don't get any emotional attachment to it. It is what it is. I just move on.
Yeah, and that's where to me it's funny. It's kind of counterintuitive, but the
Hmm.
more you do this, you realize it's so true. It's like it's not about how much you win; it's how much am I willing to lose, and what's the
Yep.
quality of the setup. Those are the most two important questions, like you say, because if the loss is inconsequential, it's not going to get to me emotionally because it's a good RR. The trade size is right. I mean, will I be disappointed? Yeah, but it's not going to ruin my day. Like shop
Yeah.
didn't get the win. But you know what? And then like in my case, I just set it to break even because I could tell this thing's probably not going to. I think it was like 11 o'clock or something. I said, okay, this thing ain't going anywhere. So,
Gotcha.
but then also the trade size. So even if I had gotten stopped out, it wasn't going to be the end of the world for me.
Understood.
Well, good.
Understood.
Well, are
But
you are you so are you day trading or both swinging in days?
both swinging
Okay.
days. So I believe shop was the only trade that I took today. I was in Amazon since last week, but it kept chopping around.
Yeah.
So I just kind of got out, and that was it. No, wait, sorry. There was a rocket company.
Yes. Rocket Mortgage.
Yep. So I got in with three contracts, thinking I would save one for a runner. But then when it came close to the first target and it kind of whipped around a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just get out. So I just set it up, I left it, and then as soon as I was gonna leave the house, it hit the target. Then it continued to my second target, which I was completely out of the trade. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So
Hey, you made some money. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell me your thinking. So like I know on the higher time frames, if I look at, let me get pull this one up, Devon Energy, right? DVON,
yep. DVN. Sorry.
Deviant. Yeah, okay, there you go. So this one, I liked. In fact, again, you had this is really solid demand zone, right? That
Mhm.
created this rally. They kind of, price was kind of working its way back. Again, this is the area in question where you got in on the trade.
Yes.
So tell me your thinking on the lower time frame. What were you thinking here?
Since it just gapped down and went straight into demand, I looked at how it reacted to demand,
Okay.
and it kind of went in, didn't spend that long, went straight out. So
Okay.
I'm like, all right, I'll consider the consolidation point over there as a form of a breaker structure.
Got it.
Which I'm thinking I
Right over
should have
here
waited.
when it broke this stuff.
Yes, which I'm thinking I should have waited until it broke the high of the day.
Right.
Well, since I looked at the risk reward, I was thinking, all right,
Sure.
so if I get it on the retrace and just target a little bit higher than the day, which there was supply there already, it was going to be a decent trade. And
You're that right.
yeah, it just chopped around.
And this is what I'm thinking, looking like on a 4 hour, this is kind of like a swing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And you could say on a 4 hour, you would draw that tip up there if you do like a 4 hour zone. Clearly, it kind of came in. This is why again, like if I'm a and again, but it's always I would say this a gazillion ways to trade. So don't usually on a swing. I want to see how the 4 hour finishes off.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, I think what you did is, which is, hey, that can work too. Is like you saw this reaction. You said, you know what? Given and what I like about what you did here, which is good, is this is a major pivot point, right? Because this is where the price started that journey up. It worked its way back down. There was
Mm-hmm.
no really significant news. So I always think about too when it's working its way. Is there any significant news that would change the way I would think about it? And I don't think there was any on this particular stock. Like you say, then you got this nice reaction. You never, like you say, though, you never took out this high. That's the only negative, right? So actually looking back at this, to think about it, using the 4 hour,
Mm-hmm.
but you could have said, okay, that's my resistance. I want to see something close up inside or take this out, right? So the resistance. So because price kind of came all in and took this out, you could have gotten in the next day. I would have used the base of the day as my stop and
Gotcha.
probably would have targeted here or up to here. So let's see what happened. And boom, yeah, you would have gotten it. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Because of all this craziness, I would have probably waited until this 4 hour closed,
Ah, I see.
which
I see.
I'm learning to be more patient. So should I tell you a story on myself? So
Mm.
I make mistakes too. Let's see, this is on DHI. So DHI, I got in when this thing was actually this second hadn't finished, but it was looking more like that, like a solid white. So I got in up here. And then the
Gotcha.
next day, this is where again I got to learn to just trust my trades. It came down. It actually came down to here like a solid down negative. I said, "Dadgummit." I just don't feel like taking a loss today, so I got out and look what it's doing. So, and I almost bought. I said, you know what? I'm not going to buy back in because I got to learn to eat. Sometimes it's bad to this. I did like this, like sit and see what you puked up, and you got to sit and just stew on it. And say, yeah, you missed out on that run because you didn't stick to your trade.
Oh
If I
man.
stuck with it, you can see the solid progression now. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's going to. I mean, you can see this thing. Like I got in here. That was my stop. I was targeting that right there for my exit out of a 2 hour trade, but I
Oh,
got chinked out of it.
oh
That
man.
happens.
It does. It does. Well,
No,
like in terms of taking profit, so I took leaps on Joby Aviation.
okay.
So I've been monitoring it for quite some time.
Joe B.
Yeah, JOBY. So I've been monitoring it for some time,
Okay.
and I got in at the 50% pullback. This pullback I gauged
When was
from
this? Do
May
you remember?
20. Sorry.
You know, what day? What was that ballpark? Was it August or
Um, when did I get in? Oh, so I got in on September 4th.
okay? You're right here. You're at the base of the start of the move. That's good.
Yep, yep. So kind of entered aggressively. So the second half of the day, which showed a green candle. So I got in there with stops below demand, and I targeted the $20 area, but I did like a 6 month leap on it, and it went up to like 115%. I still didn't cash out on it,
Nice.
but I'm still holding it. So I'm wondering, when do I take profit? Can I just, I mean, since it's only two contracts, I wanted to get out, yep, at that 4 hour, but it did not hit there. It just capped out right at
I always say as long
17.90.
as how many contracts you got,
Two. Didn't want to overdo it.
that's fine. You might want to take one out now. I always take the worst thing is having a gain and losing it, right? There's
Yeah,
always you're going to always have two regrets. And which regret would you rather have? The regret of not getting the win you could have had, as far as I is in the green and I held on too long, or dang, I
yeah,
got out too soon. I could have been. I'd rather say I got out a little too soon than have a green trade become a red trade because I held on too long.
understood.
Um,
Understood.
yeah, I would on this one, but I do think you got so here's where I would say the premise where you're solid.
Hmm.
This is your key support candle right here. Notice it was challenged a couple of times. As long as this is holding, I would say you could stay in the trade. So if you got two contracts, it was me. I would probably go ahead and take profits on one of those and then see if you can get another one up to this resistance around 17.9.
Gotcha.
That's
Because
what I would do.
well, so the trade for me was if you look at the $20 range,
Uh-huh.
there was supply up there.
Yep.
So yeah, uh
I
essentially I
see from
want
this resistance right here,
yeah. So
ballpark.
yeah, I wanted to get one out at the first 4 hour resistant point, and then the second one at
Nice.
the second resistant point. But since it came into, I guess, like that 4 hour area,
Yep.
I just yeah, I didn't take profit or anything. I'm like, it's
I don't
gonna
I
go
don't
up.
see any breakdown in structure. I mean, there is, let me put it this way. From what I'm seeing, I don't see a negative breakdown. I see a regular rhythm of higher highs, higher lows, healthy retraces. I would say, once since it's already continuing to rally, see what what I would do? I would see what it does here at 17. If it fails to, if you get any kind of, let's say, where it just fails to overtake that 17, I
Mm-hmm.
would definitely at least get out of one contract at that point. And then maybe
Gotcha.
the next day, if it doesn't re-challenge it and take it, you get out of your second.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be your test, right? So it's kind of like this, right? You see what price came up, it challenged it, never broke it, and then right, it just kept dropping. So it's kind of like the
Mm.
same thing. Come
Yeah,
up, it's come down. Let's see if it can challenge it and break it. If it doesn't, then that's probably there's more risk that price is going to want to do that.
I see.
Yeah, here's an example let me just get all this mess off of here first. So, in a day trading context, so when you got, let's say we got this, so usually it's a wick, right? And not necessarily a body closing. But I think of it more in terms of the higher time frame of, price showing you one thing and then faking you out and reversing to the opposite, right? Like in this case, we had this major pivot high on shop. Price came in, went up over it, making you thinking that it's going to continue going up, right? And so people will get in long thinking this is going to go long, and then it actually reversed and did the opposite. Right, that's basically a stop. You also got an example of that here.
But how can you determine, based on, I guess, price action and how the candles are formulating, how exactly can you determine if it's gonna be a liquidity grab or
Simply because you got if you know you've got like several key lows, like here's another example here. You got like it's either one of two things. You either got a clear low, right? Let's say this was your low candle here, and I'm going to use a dark body for that, right? And let's say that was a low, and price had worked its way up, right? And so people had their stops here, right? So people got in long thinking, okay, this is my stop. And then what happens? The price does this. It reverts, catches them to stop them out, and then reverts back to the upside.
yeah, because I had like some trades like that where it just say for example at demand,
Yep.
so it'll have a demand bounce and I'll set my stop below, say, like the initial I guess the initial drop into demand. I'll set my
Right.
stop below there, and I'll target if it's the higher day or supply or whatever the case is. But sometimes it just reverse, stop me out, goes further into demand, and then
That's why on the lower time you got to be. That's why I like higher time frames better than lower for that very reason. You get more stop hunts on like
mhm,
2 minute, 5 minute. Like here's another example here. I was going to show you. You had this demand zone right here, right? There's initial reaction to it. Price came up. People were thinking, oh, this is moving up high, and then all of a sudden it flushed. Took
yep,
everybody out who got long here for reversing. Of course, this one didn't completely reverse the upside. It kept going down. But here's another example here. See how this stop took out those lows right there, came
yep,
in, took these folks out, and then went up. So what you do here is this is why, and that's why you wait for confirmation, right? You don't just jump in
mhm,
right away. So like in this case, let's say you had this demand zone noted here. This is also why we use those 4 hours to kind of guide us instead of a lower time frame as far as your entries. You just wait, and just because it wick below these doesn't mean you don't maintain your bullish bias. You want to see how it finishes. That's the operative word, right? How it finishes.
mhm,
So in this case, even though it went through demand zone, took out these lows, it got bought up. Look at how it finished. So if I look at the 4 hour, let's go to that one right there. Where is it at? Here it is right here. That's a very fact. You can see if you had gotten in on this candle, look at that trade.
Yeah, because the thing that I can't really wrap my head around is depending on how big the demand zone is, majority of the times I would set my stop below demand and go from there. However, sometimes like I feel like the price action just dropped right below demand, stop
Right.
me out, and then there's a long wick. Like how exactly can you like work around that
Yeah, and that's what you
or
have, but you have to honor your because sometimes it still could be real, right? Like look
Mhm.
at like in this case, look, let's say you got in here up this demand, it came through and wicked through it, but then it just kept going down, right? So
Yeah.
that's why you have to honor your. So thinking more of it about in terms of should I have waited longer to get in the trade? So therefore, I'm not so like in this example here. If I wait to see how this finishes to that second half of the day, I'm golden because now I got this long wick. It's a solid stop, right?
Mhm.
Because it took these guys out. As you can see, it held up very well. That is yet to been challenged, right? So it's actually when you get a stop hunt like that that finishes up, that's a very bullish signal to go long. Just like this one here. Look, this stop hunt took out this high and reversed to the downside. So that's a good indication to go short.
I see.
I got psyched out of this trade. If I just waited for that 4 hour to finish, I'd have said,
Yeah.
man, this is golden. I didn't do it. And now I'm out of this trade.
Well, I guess that's like more of like defense trading, protecting your money, right?
Yeah, I know. But did you when you like I've seen it too many times now this is clearly now this is a different story here, right? That's definitely I would have gotten out of that trade there because it not only was it weak,
Yeah,
but the second half was weaker. But this I should have given more.
definitely.
Let's go to the
Nice.
next one. Let's see. How to trade stocks that are all-time high. Okay. So you can, so this, I would also use the market as a guide to this. So I would, if I'm basically what you're talking about trading breakout. So the way I would look at breakouts is it is an aggressive trade.
Hmm.
So let's see if we can find an example. This might be an example. So let's say, okay, so DR Horton, okay, right? I had this base, right? Created this high, came down here, and then busted through right here. See that? Busted out.
Yeah.
So when you see that happen, then what I typically would do, actually this would have gotten stopped out. I would use whatever that candle that broke out as my stop because it's an aggressive
Mhm.
trade.
I
So
see.
I would say as long as that base candle holds, I'm gonna stay in the trade because it can. I mean, it definitely. It was another good example, one that broke out. I think was it
Uh,
Tesla. Tesla's one. Look at Tesla. See, yeah, here's an example of Tesla. Look at this. See how Tesla broke out and then it just kept going.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what you,
Oh, how,
but go ahead.
sorry. How do you know where to set your target though?
You don't. So in this
Oh,
case, I would use that 4 hour. So I would have probably gotten out here. Anytime you get a second half that's weaker than the first half, you just get out. It's like you're trading it a momentum trade. So I would
mm,
think of a couple of things, right? It had to be a clear breakout, unquestionable, right? Something like this, right? Strong first and second half, breaks a clear high with volume, right? See the volume? I mean, actually, this is the volume of this candle, but still, that's good volume on that move. Then I would be looking. The other thing you could do, if you're gonna be a little more conservative, is wait to the next day and see where
okay.
price opens up. That's probably what I'd recommend that over. So I would look at it one of two ways. If I get a gap up that's not too high, I think gap up here, I wouldn't take it. But like, see, here's just that's like a nice small gap up. I would take that. Or if it gap down, see how it reacts to that support zone.
I see.
But again, that is an aggressive trade, right? So I would want to know that there's some kind of solid momentum that's propelling that stock
I
forward.
see.
Um,
So,
what's another one that broke out?
because I was looking at like
Oh,
Nvidia
Irene.
TSM.
Okay, let me look at them. But see, Nvidia really hasn't broken out. In fact, you see here, like see this area of this pivot area right through here.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can see it. Now again, I would say that's bearish, but it's holding, right? So
Yeah.
you didn't see a flush like this. See how it's still kind of staying there? It didn't
Mhm.
flush. So I mean, I wouldn't be looking to go short. And this is one of those where like when I see something like this, I'm like, I'm gonna wait and see mode. So this is where I would say I don't see a trade, a clear
Mhm.
trade here. So I'm just gonna watch it.
Yeah, because I saw some opportunity in Nvidia, and might just went against it because it was kind of hard for me to see if it's consolidating, if it's gonna drop or if it's gonna go higher.
Yep.
So I just kind of disregard even looking at it. However, in TSM,
Look at them.
I ended up taking a trade on it. It just kind of whipped around though, because I
Yep.
still remain bullish on it.
Yep.
Um, it whipped around and I just got out at break even because it's kind of hard to tell, especially with
It's really tough when breakouts are hard. I mean, you can win. So that's why I would say if you're trading it, I would just cut your risk down in half, whatever your normally risk is, just kind of because it clearly there could be an upside rally that you can make some money on, but there's
Mhm.
just so much more downside than there's upside. So like in this case, you can see here a pretty clean breakout here. And notice see how it tested the support and it held. So that would
Yeah.
have been your cue to get in long here. Maybe at that point and use that this support area of this first breakout candle as your stop. You could have had a nice trade there. But again, it's one of those things where as soon as you see signs of weakness, I'd be getting out of that trade.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.